We tell ourselves these stories about how the world isn't a safe place. And then we go gather evidence that proves to us this world's not a safe place. How do we break free from these life stories so we can really live? We can really live our lives from a very rich place that feels relieving, freeing, so open to the world around us. Well, look, let me tell you where these stories come from first, okay? We all go through our childhoods, and none of us get through them unscathed. We all experience loss. Perhaps it was the loss of our fathers, who were lost to their work. Perhaps it was the loss of our mothers, who were lost to their anxieties. Right? We all suffer in our childhood from not always having a mother that was there to nurture us, or not always having a father that was there to protect us. Right? And because of that, as young kids, we have to find ways to adapt to the relational failures that happen in our childhood. We adapt in a way where we say, well, I'll just have to find a way to make it on my own. I can't trust other people to be there for me. Or we adapt in a way where we start to say, the world's not a safe place. I'm just going to build a fortress around myself to be safe. And those adaptations that we make early in life to survive the relational shortcomings that happen to us early in life carry with us throughout our lives. We sometimes imagine that history is in the past, but history doesn't live in the past. History is actually what's stored inside of us that all too often informs and shapes how we experience our present. And so what we want to learn how to do is we want to learn how to liberate ourselves from these stories that we learn to tell ourselves very early in life. How do we now, all these years later, stop living those stories anymore? So we can start to live script-free and live from our hearts, live from all of who we are, and not be bound by old stories that we once needed in order to feel safe. Well, here's what's really important. If you're going to learn to break free from these life scripts, you got to slow down enough to feel. One of the things that we often do to ourselves is we often speed up to avoid feeling. We get caught up by being busy, by distracting ourselves to stay away from our feelings. But if you're really going to change and no longer live the way you once did, you're going to want to slow down and get in touch with what you feel. And when you get in touch with what you feel, to ask yourself, what part of what I'm feeling is here and now? And how do I respond in a way that's respectful to what I feel, that allows me to assert myself and be heard in a kind, yet clear, yet strong way? And what part of what I'm feeling might be old? What part of this reminds me of what I felt so long ago? And for that part of us, where we can remember how what's happening to us now reminds us of what we once felt so long ago, perhaps so alone or so sad or so hurt or feeling this big loss again. Perhaps we can bring our compassion, our empathy to ourselves. You see, that's what was missing in our childhood, was we were left alone in our pain, and so we found ways to adapt. And what we can do to heal that in our adulthood is allow ourselves to slow down enough to feel that again, but this time to love ourselves in it so that we can truly heal. And as we do, we stop living these life scripts anymore and we start to live script free. Our hearts can be open to the world and we can start to be all of who we were meant to be, no longer defined by what once happened to us and what we once had to do to survive, but now liberated to express all of who we are with a kindness, with a courage, with a thoughtfulness that characterizes your true heart. So come join me in script-free living by taking the time to slow down, to feel, and to bring your empathy to yourself so you can heal and live your best life.